So, my aunt, who, when I was about 5 years old, worked at the Manhattan Christian Academy, working with children. During this time, she came across a child that she claimed reminded her of me. This child and I mimic some of the same behaviors, such as back and forth rocking, the hand gripping, and even the sensitivity to sound and taste. At this point, my aunt had a conversation with my mother, and they had both agreed that I should get evaluated. This is when the journey had begun in 2015 to my current diagnosis of ASD, Autism Spectrum Disorder. Now, when I first walked into this building, could at least some of you assume I was autistic? Probably not. And the reason for that is because some people view autism as a source of annoyance, disappointment, or probably worse. We need to stop thinking autism is a joke and something to laugh at, as it is a disorder people my age, older, or younger, have to deal with in their everyday life. We need to recognize that these people need our help and support, because if we offer these people our help and support, we can improve on their quality of life, their strengths, and we can help them start fully participating in our society based on their preferences and needs. For example, educationally, a teacher notices a student with autism struggles with sudden schedule changes and loud noises. To help, the teacher provides visual schedules, noise-canceling headphones, and a quiet space, making learning more accessible or reducing anxiety. Mentally, a teenager with autism experiences meltdowns due to frustrations in school. To help, teachers and parents can teach self-regulation techniques like deep breathing, sensory breaks, or using even a calming app. And last, physically. A student with autism struggles with fine motor skills, making writing difficult. To help, teachers can provide assistive tools like pencil grips, speech-to-text software, or even typing alternatives. But autism can also show in non-traditional ways. It is a spectrum after all, therefore there are different levels to autism. Some non-traditional ways autism can appear can be social exhaustion rather than social avoidance. Some autistic individuals enjoy socializing, but find it draining, needing long periods of alone time to recover from interactions. Hyperempathy instead of lack of empathy. Some autistic individuals feel emotions too deeply, rather than lacking empathy. They may absorb other people's emotions intensely and struggle with emotional boundaries. And difficulty identifying or expressing emotions. Some autistic people struggle to recognize or describe their own emotions, even if they feel them deeply. This can lead to misunderstandings in relationships. Since autism is a spectrum, it appears differently in everyone. Recognizing these non-traditional traits helps ensure more people diagnosed with autism get the understanding and support they need. Here's a little story. On the first day of 3rd grade, my teacher had all the kids, including me, get up to introduce themselves. When I got up to introduce myself, I mentioned I was autistic. And the room, the students, all bursted into small giggles, snickers, and small laughs. And because of that, I was tremendously embarrassed. Wanting to hide the fact that I was autistic from the rest of the world, from my entire school career, and for my entire life. Growing up, seeing how people mocked and made fun of autistic people, seeing the gestures and acts they made around me, I hated it, eventually turning suicidal and tried to end it all, not once, but twice. But fortunately, I failed both attempts. But that's because my uncle, sitting in front row, introduced me to a man named Will Osprey. Who is this guy right here? I was and still am a big pro wrestling fan. My uncle is too. And he introduced me to some of his matches, and his performance was phenomenal. There was no doubt in my mind that I thought he was one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time. There was one thing he said in an interview that kept me feeling good about myself, that I wasn't weird at all, that I was capable of doing things normal functioning people can do. And that's when he described autism as a superpower. Keep in mind, Will Ospreay is in fact one of the greatest professional wrestlers of this generation. And he described having autism helped him to become one of the biggest stars of professional wrestling today. After this, my entire perspective on autism just flipped. I didn't see it as a simple condition or disorder anymore. I saw more than just that. I saw it as a superpower. I thought to myself, if this man, who is living with the same conditions as me, can be one of the greatest at something, that means I can too. Me and my group continued on with our research on autism and found out that autistic people are some of the most intelligent when it comes to stuff they hyper-focus on or are deeply immersed in. Now, here's this. Autism is like a unique and different operating system. Imagine this. Imagine the brain as a computer. Most people run on a standard operating system like Windows or Mac OS, while an autistic person runs on a unique, highly specialized system like Linux or a custom-built OS. Here's a reason for that. Autistic people sometimes can excel on certain tasks more than a normal person would. Autistic people take in information differently, but may run into compatibility issues when it comes to being highly efficient in the right environment if they are forced to function like a standard operating system. But this is about autism awareness, right? So why should we raise awareness of autism in our community? Why is that a need for all of us here today? Well, that's a simple question to answer, believe it or not. Raising awareness about autism is needed because it helps give all of us an understanding, acceptance, and support for autistic individuals, and it helps completely eliminate all the misconceptions we once had about autistic people and recognize them for who they really are, which are people, human beings just like the rest of us. People who are just like us, but act way more differently than a normal person would. But that doesn't completely mean they are incapable of anything. And think about all the other popular individuals that are diagnosed with autism. Albert Einstein and Elon Musk. These are people who are diagnosed with autism, yet they still made a big name for themselves. They became some of the best at what they do. Albert Einstein was a genius in mathematics with his development of the theory of relativity. Elon Musk created the greatest pieces of electric vehicles with Tesla. What I'm trying to say is that autism shouldn't be seen as not just a disorder, but it should also be seen as a gift. A gift that only 1 in 100 children are given. A gift you can use to prove to people that you are more capable than what others may think. But most importantly, autism can be a superpower that can help you achieve your biggest dreams and desires you probably didn't think were possible with your condition. Thank you.